It's people like you that make America great.
Thanks, sir.
And
I should spend our time on Vermin Supreme? Not a chance.
Without further ado, I want to welcome each of the candidates to the stage, starting with Vermin Supreme.
Phaser set on stun.
Hey, any kids out there? Kids are naturally anti-authoritarians. They are naturally nonconformist. They love humor, and kids want to change the world. That is what kids and libertarians have in common. We need to be able to explain how we will indeed alleviate the suffering that will occur as we pull the rug of government right out from under them. We must hold up libertarian examples. For example, the Libertarian Party of Tennessee right now is involved in disaster relief efforts. A shout out to the Ohio Libertarian Party that is currently putting together a meal program to all the kids that are being displaced because the schools are being shut down. It's all about libertarians showing that we do care, that we do have a plan, that there are options. We must demonstrate that we are indeed the party of love and compassion and caring. I believe that we are, and I believe that we can.
You brought in some newer, younger audiences. I think it's great that you can show that comedy brings them in, and then you can throw down and be serious and give the actual party what it's looking for in a candidate.
Absolutely. I mean, I believe what I'm offering is a legitimate offer. These 30 years of satirical humor campaign, it's brought me this level of notoriety. People grew up with me. I believe that humor can be used as an effective tool to help dismantle and mock the hell out of the system.
Governor Gary Johnson received 4.5 million votes in 2016. How do you plan to beat that result and to use that result to build the party membership?
There are 3.9 million high school kids that graduate every year. Give me 2 of those years, that's 8 million kids. Add that to the 17 million college students, and that's a pool of 25 million voters. And if we are able to get 1 out of 4 of those kids to vote for us, well, that is 6.5 million, also known as 5%. There are also an endless stream of subcultures in America, and they all fall under the umbrella of nerd culture, and they are my natural constituents. Tens of millions and almost 100 million plus disaffected, disillusioned, and disgusted individuals in America who are totally done with politics. But I believe that my campaign can reinvigorate these people, re-enlighten them, and bring them into our party.
I've always been about the deconstruction of things and trying to understand the format and trying to subvert the format whenever possible. But once again, that's when I'm in the character, in the deconstruction mode. Yeah, I got the boot on my head right now, but obviously I'm not the wacky, over-the-top persona that I use sometimes. And of course, it's been very interesting at these debates. I mean, they started putting out these novelty headwear prohibitions.
Ironic for the Libertarian Party, too.
The party of self-expression, etc. But I was willing to not let that be a handicap, and I believe it's actually been a strength. It's allowed me to stretch and play this new character, Vermin Supreme, the serious guy.
What would you consider to be libertarian solutions to the issue we currently face with the coronavirus?
Number 1, I would outlaw it. Number 2, I would go back in time and kill baby coronavirus. I think that's pretty clear right there.
This is an actual test of the libertarian principle of personal responsibility and people being responsible for themselves. And of course, the self-quarantine is a very good example of that. It is, of course, a very teachable moment because, once again, after any of these things, it just proves the fact, it speaks to the fact that the government can't save you. The government is not going to save you. We can indeed save ourselves through cooperation. So please wash those hands. Please check in on your elderly neighbors. Make sure if they need groceries that happens. And once again, it's about strengthening our families, strengthening our communities, and lessening the need for government in our lives.
These are scary times, and this is a very interesting, dry run for the government to really figure out the clampdown and all that. And of course, they could use as a pretext to do whatever the hell they're planning to doing with all the never-ending militarization of the police state and surveillance state. And that's what makes these particularly scary times, especially for the young people, because the future is more uncertain now than any time since they had to duck and cover under the fucking desks because people were scaring them about the nuclear war.
Together, we can do it. We can totally get there, and we can do whatever we set our minds to. trying to build these communities up that we're going to need to make happen, because the government will inevitably fail again.
Most people that aren't libertarians aren't even going to watch these debates.
So a lot of people, even libertarians, don't watch it. Now, that's been a little frustrating for me because, you know, I've been like totally breaking the fourth wall, explaining what I'm doing very clearly. Yet, almost at any given event, easily 3/4 of the people have not done the due diligence just to watch another debate, just to understand that it's a serious campaign now. So it's, you know, these conventions, of course, are very important. We change hearts and minds, and when the people hear what I have to say, they grok it.
Who is someone outside of politics that inspires you, and why?
I'd say personally, short list is George Carlin, Pat Paulson, Lenny Bruce, Bill Hicks, and Richard Pryor. People who are able to offer vicious, brutal critiques, who are able to slam the status quo and just shred them and make people laugh at the same time. And that has certainly informed a lot of what I do.
When my campaign manager, Desarae, reached out over a year ago, you know, do you want to do a serious campaign? Once again, it wasn't me that decided to do this serious campaign.
People have spoken.
Yeah, I was recruited flat out, and I'm trying to take that responsibility seriously. Perhaps I could get the nomination, and I understand that would entail a tremendous amount of effort and travel and salesmanship, and that's part of the offer that I'm making.
How will you receiving the nomination affect libertarians running down ballot?
I've got about 50,000 Twitter followers currently, and every day that I go and scan and read that, they list the related searches, and inevitably in every day related searches is libertarian, libertarianism, Libertarian Party, and Libertarian Platform. My campaign has been drawing a whole lot of eyeballs in the direction of Libertarian Party, and a lot of people who would not have ever given the party a second look are indeed looking at it freshly, and they're having to question their preconceived notions about the negatives that they think about the party. For down ballot tickets, yes, I'm drawing a whole lot of eyeballs, and I'm bringing a lot of people to look your way. If you have to explain the boothead guy, well, that's on you. That's your pivot. You're the politician.
Okay, let's do it, people.
Thank you.
Let's do it. All right, it's me, Vermin Supreme, kids. Visit my TikTok. I got a TikTok.
From the confines of executive powers, what specific practical changes would you make were you elected to the office of president?
That's a very wonderful hypothetical question, and I will say that I will allow it. It has always been my understanding as an anarchist and as a libertarian that the most important and really the only way that we'll be able to disable or get rid of the government is essentially to disengage from the government, essentially creating alternative structures and alternative systems and alternative services, be they private or however that they are voluntary. So if I was president, to go hypothetical on it, I would command that. Everybody help everybody. It would be an executive order.
The people who are fans or supporters or people who really grok or understand or love what I do, that they are my constituents, and that ultimately I'm doing it for them because they are maybe not be in a position to do so. I've been blessed with this random combination of DNA and upbringing and experiences and skill set building that has brought me to this level. And, you know, the only reason I have is because I never stopped. If I had stopped it would have been a fond memory. Remember that Vermin Supreme guy?
A big part of the problem, as I perceive it, is that the bureaucratic industrial complex exists and that so many people are employed doing redundant tasks. The Libertarian Party is a party of anarchists and minarchists really trying to bring that government down and make it as small as possible until, as Ronald Reagan once said, drown in a bathtub.
It's not inconceivable that I could get 5%. It's not inconceivable that I can draw tons and tons of kids into the party. It's not inconceivable it could spark a movement. But you can tell by this little smile on my face that I think that it is real like that. It could. It's not inconceivable.
Many people ask me, Vermin, why do you wear a boot on your head? And I tell these people that it stands for all that is great in America. The ability to wear a boot on your head if you want to. Do you believe that the government should be able to tell you what you can do, when you can do it, where you can do it, and how you can do it? Do you believe that the government is entitled to your hard-earned money under threat of imprisonment? Do you believe that you can make the best decisions that affect your life? Well, you may be a libertarian and not even know it. We are a serious political party. However, the duopoly presidential election cycle has risen to the level of a joke. And with love and with spite, here's Vermin Supreme. Hashtag we are in on the joke.
Thank you. Vermin Supreme running for president. VerminSupreme2020.com. The serious libertarian pragmatic candidate.